I'm gonna stand right there, actually.
Oh, where I am?
Yeah. Yeah, that's close enough. Okay. Can we cut the music for a second? Oh yeah, no worries.
Here you go. Woo. Which one? This is the coffee, right? Black Forest. Yeah. People love this. Really?
Nice. Okay, awesome. All right, so this is Black Forest. We've had it on for like a week or so already, maybe a little bit more, but with everything going on with Carnival, I didn't really have a chance to come out here and give you guys some tasting notes on it. And today we're recording the tasting notes so that everybody can see it. Can I also have one, Trista? Right, so it's a stout. Pretty middle of the road ABV wise. I think we're at 5 or 6% here. It is thank you. It's a chocolate raspberry stout. There's no actual chocolate addition in this. All of the chocolate in this is coming from the malt. Okay? Yeah. So I'm not going to get too deep into it right now, but we get different colors and different flavors in our malt, which is, of course, like our barley and wheat and stuff like that, all the grains, from kilning it for longer times. And what that does is it brings out different flavors through Maillard reactions. So there's a type of malt called chocolate malt, which is just barley that's been subjected to high amounts of heat for a longer amount of time, turns it black, dark like this, and it brings out coffee and chocolate flavors. So the malt for this one's been selected more for its for its chocolate profile. So that's the chocolate part of the chocolate raspberry stout. And then the raspberry part is raspberries. So the idea here is kind of a dessert stout. It is on the drier side, so you should be getting a lot of those fruit aromas and flavors through, like also like on the, on the aroma coming off the beer, but like also in the flavoring as well. But it's not going to finish too sweet or anything like that. So there's a few other things going on in here. So what are you guys getting? Mainly raspberry and chocolate, or anything else in there?
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
When you say dry finish, where does that come from?
Yeah, so dry we're talking about on a spectrum from like dry to sweet. So that actually comes from the wine world and like
How do you
describing
accomplish
things.
Dry beer versus.
So
What would be the difference between this and the opposite?
for sure. So dry versus sweet or even semi-sweet is all about the residual sugars left in the beer.
Sure.
So if you think about fermentation, we're taking sugars and converting them to alcohol and CO2, along with a bunch of other chemical compounds, but there's some other stuff in there. So we're letting the yeast flocculate in a sweeter beer before they've consumed all of those sugars.
Okay.
So like a low flocculation beer might be like 70% flock. So like if it's 70%, for example, then like 30% of the original sugars that were in the beer are still in there.
Sure.
Most of our beers are like 75 to 85% flock. That's going to be the drier beers. So like your Clear Skies is a great example. Your Pilsners, things like that, those are very dry finishes.
Okay.
So this is also finishing dry, which is a little counterintuitive. I think it brings out a lot of the acidity in the raspberries, which I like a little bit more than just having like a straight dessert stout. Something that's like really sweet and like not to my personal liking. We'll probably do something like that later on down the road, but this one's a little bit drier so that you can have more of them.
So if you hold this in your mouth a little while, you can taste that acid.
Yeah.
Like I got kind of a lemony kind of flavor in it, but if it sits in your mouth a while.
Yeah, exactly.
If
And
you get past the raspberry, you can get the other layers.
totally. And and there's two things that are bringing the pH down, which, lower pH equals more acidity. The dark malts, because of the way that they're made, so like that chocolate malt that I'm talking about, that actually brings down the pH a little bit. And you add the raspberry on top of that, and it's like, it's a decently low pH, not quite as low as a sour, obviously, but like it brings it down, which allows us to kind of accentuate other flavors. You add carbonation onto that, which also CO2 is naturally acidic, so it kind of brings out that pop, which I think plays really well with those darker malts, which at times can be overwhelming. If you think of a Guinness that like drinks like a meal or something like that, you want to try and cut through that a little bit. So that's what we've done here.
It's been really well received.
Nice. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear
I
that.
feel like it doesn't, that carbonation isn't really like super apparent, like super evident there. It's not super carbonated.
Yeah, we've carved this one a little bit lower
Yeah.
than,
So
than
it's like,
usual
it's
as
like
well.
smoother of a sip, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And this is the dessert you can have before your meal.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
You'll notice like in the description, it's like, it's a really simple description. I was just like, it's decadent, it's whatever, you know, it's like, you know, something to indulge in, basically.
It's good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Well done.
Thanks. Thanks.